having that experience in Nicaragua definitely made it possible for me to say that I'm at working proficiency in Spanish. And I think that's such an important it's such an important skill and something I can apply to anything else I do, even waitressing. Um, and that was really possible by the immersion in the program with homestays, but also with talking with young students my age, that wanting to spend all day and night speaking Spanish because I wanted to spend time with my Nicaraguan friends was a really cool experience to have speaking in Spanish not be such a heavy weight, which I think was really the big move for me in terms of growing in language. So I did my ISP on collective memory, which memory studies is something I've been working on here at Tufts the semester before I left. Um, Collective memory and the politics of collective memory. So how we and certain communities remember past events and why they remember certain events and what's the role of the government in remembering those events. So I was very drawn to that in Nicaragua, which after the revolution has now gone through three distinct regimes that have all seen and had a different perspective on what exactly happened in recent history and have all applied that in government controlled spaces. So public school systems, textbooks, also public space like monuments, memorials. So I was very interested on that about that, just what I was seeing around me. And actually, a previous SIT student in Nicaragua had written an ISP on public space and basically the cycles of memory and how memorials were destroyed and rebuilt with different government regimes rather than building on previous regimes' interpretations of the past. They basically started from scratch. So building on that concept and also the theme in our program on youth culture, I was really interested in working with university students my age. So what I ended up doing for my ISP was interviewing about 11 different university students from two different universities, the public and the private, and asking them where did they learn about history, what did they learn, where did they learn about it, why do they remember certain events in certain ways, and it was a really, really incredible process, um, and really just talking with university students in Spanish, and then I wrote my whole 40-page ISP in Spanish, really brought me to the next level in terms of my language abilities, but also in terms of the content of my research. I'm now applying that to my honors thesis in international relations, looking at the politics of memory for university students in this conversation. And I'm applying it to working on a Fulbright potentially next year, looking at that application. And all of that research has so heavily informed all of that. I might not even be doing a thesis if I hadn't already done all of this work on my ISP, or if I did, it would be a completely different direction. So, yeah, my ISP was super important. Just being alone and doing your own research that's entirely yours is so amazing and terrifying. But with all the guidance that SIT offers, specifically my director, I went over to her house like 3 or 4 different times. I met with my incredible advisor once or twice a week. So even though I was working on my own research, and that was very intimidating, I had really great support and resources throughout the entire process, which is really what made it such a successful and useful experience for me, and research that I can rely on now and look back on and use for projects like my honors thesis or applying to grants.
Great. And one last thing, what would you tell people that are interested in SIT? What do you think makes it unique?
Go, do it, go. I was feeling very hesitant during the application process. Um, and my advisor, my wonderful advisor, was very much pushing SIT. And I was sort of like, why? Who cares? It's just, you're just going somewhere. As long as you study abroad, that's all that matters. Whatever program, it shouldn't matter that much. Um, but it really, really makes a huge difference. Just talking with also other friends who did other SIT programs and recognizing that it wasn't just Nicaragua that like had, and while I had like this incredible academic director and had all these incredible excursions, the general template and format that SAT offers is successful and is interesting and is engaging. Specifically, the city basis, but excursions, the ISP at the end of the program are all aspects that you're not going to get at another program. It's very distinct to SIT. And regardless of which program you go on, you will have that format, which I think is the best way to work on language, the best way to explore a different country, to feel familiar but also uncomfortable was really important. Embracing being uncomfortable and having the support to be able to really dive into that discomfort and think, okay, why am I uncomfortable? What does this mean? How do I adjust? How do I cope? And SIT allowed me to step into my um, discomfort, to get out of that comfort zone, but also have the support network to do that and feel safe.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to help in any way possible to spread the word out about this amazing program.